YouTube family, what's going on? It's your boy Top. Welcome back to the channel. Where here I primarily talk about fragrances, but also sprinkle in some lifestyle and fashion content as well. So I need y'all to do me a favor. If you haven't already, go ahead, consider subscribing, then make sure you hit the bell so you can stay notified anytime I post any new content. And today I'm back with another fragrance review, y'all, this time for Afnan Supremacy and Oud. So if you're not familiar with this fragrance, it is a clone or alternative to Initio's Oud for Greatness. So really a great fragrance that is perfect for this time of year, fall, kind of going into winter. Really reminds me of the holidays, kind of with the spice it has. So definitely very excited to bring this one to you all today. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So kicking things off, here we have the presentation, which not that it matters, but I will say for the price point, it is pretty nice. So we have a insert, then you remove that and have the box, which is here, and let's get the bottle out. So again, really nice presentation, y'all. Nice deep brown kind of gold accent on the bottle, pull ring. Yeah, can't complain too much. Like I said, especially for the price point, I think this is one of the nicer presentations that you get for a clone or inspired by fragrance. But as you all know, again, this is a nice to have in terms of, the presentation, but let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about how this one actually smells. So this one released, I think back in 2021 or 2022. I know I've had it for about 2 years now and have definitely worn it, pretty good amount of times. And I'll say in terms of, its closeness to the original, this one is very close, but I'd also say it's a little bit different because almost has this fruity sweetness up top. So again, just talking about the DNA a little bit, I'm not going to go into a full list of the breakdown, but I believe, it's relatively simplistic. You have some spices, I think primarily saffron and nutmeg. You also have some lavender up top for a little bit of freshness, but star players is really, the oud that you get in the mid, and then they list sweet notes. So not really, a direct note where kind of that sweetness is coming from, but sweet notes is what they list, and I think you have some patchouli and musk in the base. But again, all in all, very similar to the original. I would say this one just might be a touch sweeter and almost has this, like I said, fruity sweetness in the top. So all in all, what you're getting with this one, again, a fragrance that's really focused on that warm spiciness. So saffron, nutmeg being the spice, the warmth again has those sweet notes, and of course you have the oud in here. So relatively simplistic, not too much going on in here, kind of what you get from initial spray, I'd say is pretty much what you get throughout, at least on my skin, with the exception of some of the fruity sweetness, tapering back a bit, maybe after the first half hour. But all in all, y'all, this is, again, if you're looking for an alternative, want to save some money or want to, ensure that you, get the best bang for your buck and you're into, Initio's Oud for Greatness or that DNA, that style of fragrance, kind of that deep wood with spices and, a little bit of sweetness to it. I would say it probably gets no better than this one. Again, I've had this one for a couple years now, but would imagine you can still pick it up for anywhere between kind of 35 and maybe 55 bucks on most fragrance discounters. And I think at that price, definitely a steal, definitely a good purchase. So performance, it checks the box, y'all. Again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, especially at this price point, I'm very, very impressed by how smooth this one is kind of out the gate, and, really just smells very well blended, very refined, and very good, and honestly kind of hard to believe that this one is less than 50 bucks, right? So definitely checks the point from the quality perspective. And in terms of longevity, this thing performs very, very well. I know the original, I've tested that one, a few times. I'd say that's beast mode, at least on my skin, kind of 10 plus hours easily. I'd say this one isn't far behind. I get anywhere between kind of 8 and 9 hours easily, right, whenever I wear this one, and projects really well. I'd say for the first 2.5 hours, you get a really nice, scent bubble around you, really get some good sillage. So as you're, moving, out and about, you'll definitely catch whiffs of it, but others will as well. And, that's something I definitely noticed with wearing this one. So all in all, performance checks the box, works really well. In terms of versatility, I'd say this one's definitely reserved more for colder weather and For me, can definitely do day, but I prefer this one in the evening. So I think it's a really nice, cool weather evening scent. Again, that spice, that sweetness, the oud, which isn't too challenging or isn't too pungent, but definitely is noticeable. But I'd say kind of more of the designer style where it's a bit on the cleaner side. So all in all, again, great for cool weather. So fall, like we're in now, moving into winter. I think this one is going to be a gem for you all, one that works really well. And in terms of compliments, I have to say, this is one of my more complimented fragrances. I think this scent profile, scent DNA in general just works really well. Like I said, especially in cool weather and just, again, is one that has that everything you really look for, right? Some spiciness, a little bit of sweetness, but also the oud to kind of give it a bit of a masculine touch. And that's really it, y'all. If you're looking for a great alternative to Initio's Oud for Greatness, check out Afnan Supremacy and Oud. Again, very reasonable, but for the price that you're paying, you get great value, great longevity, great performance, and one that just smells really amazing, especially if you're a fan of that DNA. So there are a number of other alternatives for this fragrance out there. To me, this is my favorite. I'd say a close second would be Alexandria's Udiction. But those are kind of the two that I'd say of the many I've smelled that have come closest and just smell the most well blended and refined. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up today's review, y'all. Want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. You could be doing so many other things right now, but you just had to check this video out, and I really appreciate that. Do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've ever tried Afnan Supremacy and Oud, or if you have another alternative or clone for Initio's Oud for Greatness that you prefer. Love to hear a little bit more about that. And until next time, peace and love.